Hello student, welcome to all of you in the course Understanding Gender and Law, BGS 011. Um, I'm going to discuss with you today the construction of gender and sexuality part 2. There are a number of challenges when one studies the debate of construction of gender and sexuality, and these challenges emerge with the essentialism related to the ideas and identities related to sexuality. How sexuality impact our lives and how marginalization based on sexuality leads to the concept of sexual hierarchy. And I think it's been very important to understand this debate, the concept of the sexual hierarchy. An effort has been made in this lecture to attain is to draw not only upon a theoretical work undertaken, but also it's important, how, the question have been raised in and around to help deepen understanding and engagement with these issues being discussed. So, the objective of this lecture is to enable learners to understand sexuality in a broader framework of patriarchy, how patriarchy operates. At the same time, that the concept, the ways in which the sexual hierarchies operate, that is one of the main objective of it. So, let's again understand this concept sexuality, which has a different aspects of life. I already mentioned to you that WHO has given a detailed definition of the sexuality. However, it needs to be reinstated that it is central aspect of everyone's life. It is present in almost all the intricacies of our lives, and it is important to address those intricacies. Here, an attempt is to, sort of presenting you some of the aspect of lives, and you can see how sexuality is present in all those aspects of life. For instance, education. Dropout rate of the girls after 5th standard is a big issue in our country. The upper primary schools are located far from the village. In the context of education, we call it as an issue of gender, but it is seriously an issue of gender. If you talk to these girls' parents, they will tell you that since the schools are located far away from the villages, they are scared that something might happen on their way to school. And this is consistently debated, and we all of us knows this is a very serious problem. By something, they mean earlier sexual violence, or some girls might explore their sexuality or elope with someone. Now, the second point which has been raised is the mobility. Women are not allowed to go out at night. Mostly in women's hostel, girls are not allowed to go out at night or even at home, right? Now, the doctor's treatment. Some parts of the body which are linked to the reproduction and sexual health called private parts. Girls as well as boys in same cases are made to, feel shy about those parts. So whenever there are some health issues in those parts, girls feel shy to show them to the doctors. Normally, such issues remain hidden. Now, I think that the ways in which the sexual hierarchy operates, one has to also understand this. In the mainstream society, we learn about some of the norms about relationship. Relationship should be between a man and woman. Relationship should be between men and women, as I already mentioned to you, but relation should be within the institution of the marriage. Relationship should be between a man and woman of the same caste, same religion, same class. You might be thinking, what is wrong with these norms? It is important to understand that people who do not subscribe to these norms are penalized in their life. They faced varied forms of discrimination in society, and society not accepted in an hour at the time might face the death too. The following incident can be a case study, and I'm just going to mention this case study under this to understand the complexity of it. Same-sex couple commit suicide, and this was the report was given by the journalist Monotosh Chakrabarti in Times of India, January 24 to 11. Two teenage girls committed suicide in a village in South 24 Paraganas, apparently disillusioned about their future as a same-sex couple. Police found the bodies of the 19-year-old Bobby Shah and the 17-year-old Pooja Mandal after breaking down a door of the Bobby's house in Tripur Sundari area of the border. The postmortem report says they took poison together and lay down to die, clutching each other's arms. It appears that, and I'm quoting again this, what police said during that, it appears that the two girls were in a relationship, but they were depressed about uncertainty of their future, which is why they committed suicide, said the police. The victims' families reportedly had a cordial relationship despite facing criticism from neighbors for the girls. Unusual behavior, they call it quote unquote. Bobby used to dress and behavior like men, whereas Pooja was like any other girl. And this is a website which is given. You can always log into this and check this story to understand. And there are a number of cases which had happened in many places cutting across India. So thus the above incident shows that society does not approve any other kind of relationship except the relationship which is granted and sanctioned by the society. In the earlier section we saw how when men and women marry outside their respective caste, then they face severe harassment in the hands of the family and society. And this is again been very, very common, which you can read and go through a number of debates where you could see that Kha Panchayat, how it is functioning. There's also been this whole debate of honor killing, and feminists have eventually challenged this, whose honor it is. I mean, is it that the girls doesn't have their own identity and one has to always affiliate in the in the context of the family and the honor. So feminists in fact challenged those debates again. Therefore, I think we have to again go back to Rubin's work where she talked about charmed circle with two conceptive circles representing acceptance and low acceptance of sexual acts behavior. In her circle, represents sexual acts that are accepted and privileged, while the outer limits represents non-acceptable sexual behavior that is viewed as abnormal and it's often pathologized. But the boundaries are permissible and they change from culture to culture, market to market, generation to generation. And I must tell you that it was not possible 40 years before that we Indians used to talk in a very open manner about these debates which I'm trying to explain to you here. But so there is a change, of course. But a divergence is only acceptable under certain boundaries. For example, homosexuality is acceptable, and within inner circle, it means it has to be monogamous within home, within marriage, same generation, etc. people who are within the charmed circles are privileged and gain in terms of material realities. For instance, if a girl is married to a man of a same caste and religion, she will have respect in the community. Also, people are married according to the societal norms, get marital benefits too. For instance, if I'm married, then I can nominate my husband in my life's insurance, or I can adopt a kid together, I can get a loan together, I can buy a house together. If I were a lesbian, then I would not be able to buy a house together with my partner in India, or will not be allowed to nominate her in my insurance. And but these differs from the context to context. In some countries where same-sex marriage is legalized, there the couples can nominate each other. However, one has to be in the charm circle and not in the outside circle. Now, coming back to the sexual hierarchy, it is clear that there is a fundamental relationship between this hierarchy and patriarchy. At the heart of the charm circle is the heterosexual monogamous married couple. This is precisely that in this lecture that patriarchy is teased out, and one has to understand the patriarchy requires this. It is only within such that the division of labor, resources, and power required by the patriarchy becomes possible. This also explains the severity of the punishment mentioned out of those who are seen to be violating the norms that maintain the sexual hierarchy. The incident of the young woman couple feeling driven to commit suicide is an example of such punishment. And I think, therefore, one has to also understand this, debate to look forward and how one can engage with that. So, same-sex relationship are those where men and women are in relationship with people of the same gender. For instance, if a woman is attracted towards another woman, or if a man is attracted to another man, then it's a same-sex desire. These relationships are also called homosexual relationship. These kinds of desires are considered abnormal by the society. Some of the human rights violence faced by the people who, and people who desire the people of the same sex, same gender also. But I think that one has to also look at certain points which arises through this silence. There is a silence around these issues. If you observe the society, one cannot talk to their closest friends about their desires because there is an assumption that most people are heterosexual. Now, there is second point, that family violence. The violence around homosexuality start within homes, and there are number of examples which you can think about. Once parents find out about their children's desire, family pressurize the people to abide by the norms. Several same-sex desiring people have reported physical and mental violence from parents. And I would just cite one example that one of the students came across way back, and she was doing a PhD from some other university. And when the parents found that she's a lesbian, the parents said that she was a single child, and the parents said, like, you have to marry according to our wish. We will give. She was quite rich, so they said that we will give you entire property, but you have to, whatever we said, you have to follow an instruction, respect the family, keep it in mind. So, in some places, there are instances of the sexual violence from the family members. Now, educational institute, which one has to also understand. There is no mention of such relationship in textbooks, but now it's coming very slowly. Friends taught when they got to know about other sexuality. At workplace also, the ways in which this kind of categories suffer. In a workplace, it is difficult to present partner of the same sex as a family. The only reason same-sex desire are called abnormal is because they challenge patriarchy to a large extent. Think about a household which has a two women as a partner. Who will do the work outside the home, or who will take care of the household work? Either both will take care of both sides, or one of them will do particular work. And since both of them are women, power is not distributed in the same way as in the case of the relationship between men and women. But there are controversies also. Even in the same-sex desire, there can be possibility to have this hierarchy. So same-sex desires are also outside of reproductive logic. They do not have the sex for the procreation, therefore such relationships are stigmatized by the society. There's also been a concept called good woman relationship with sexuality. According to social norms, there are two kinds of women, good woman and bad woman. It is usually unexpected that woman will be a good daughter, good wife, good mother, good sister, etc. What is the definition of good and bad then? Why is it every woman's scared of becoming bad woman? What does a good woman do? She abides by all norms of society. She wears what she considers it appropriate by the society. She eats after feeding everyone. She listens to everyone. She cares for everyone without thinking about her own self or own life. And also that whenever her husband desires, she would not say no for anything. She will never make first move with regard to any relationship with husbands. Or on the other hand, the bad woman is that accordingly to society norms, she would say no. She would have her own say. She wears the clothes she wants. She eats whenever she feels like eating, when she's hungry. And therefore, that the kind of freedom or autonomy she exercises to do whatever pleases her without taking others' freedom. So, what I mean to say is that the one who is every time saying yes to husband, not questioning or not expressing own feelings or sort of feelings, then she would be put under the box as a good woman. The one who would raise the question would be put into that, because that is how the society has constructed that. So normally it is assumed that since the bad woman does whatever pleases her, she might be irresponsible. However, doing what one likes does not make her irresponsible. The norms of the good woman are directly linked to the sexuality then. For instance, the good woman will never say no to her husband. She will never talk to other men. She will never wear what society insists that, and she wears whatever the husband says. Therefore, those norms are directly linked to the sexuality. And I think that I would just conclude this by stating that uh, how this patriarchy operates, and what is the relationship of the patriarchy with the sexuality. At the same time, that when it comes to the choice, exercising the choice, the same sex desire, how society has sort of put us certain categories, norms, limitations, and the whole idea of the the hierarchy of the sexuality, which is based on class, caste, region, religion, um, and we abide by certain kinds of this rules and norms. And at the same time, one has to also see that the category of good woman, bad woman, obedient woman, how these are put under the box by the society, which keep challenging the society. Thank you.